Hi, it's October 18th, 2022. Alexandra Morton here with a brief update on the endless saga of salmon farms on the coast of British Columbia. So I'm really happy to say that in the Broughton Archipelago, using different methods, all of the First Nations north of Knights Inlet have worked to get salmon farms out, and most of them have been removed. And in just one generation, the pink salmon from the Hattah River went from 390 adults to over 11,000. It's really quite incredible. This is what salmon do when you remove salmon farms. Last week, the Minister of Fisheries, Joyce Murray, went on the road and she traveled the length of Vancouver Island talking to people, First Nations, environmental organizations, scientists, about the transition of salmon farms in British Columbia. This is incredible. I've never seen a minister go on the road before, and I have so much respect for her for doing this. But the meetings were run by the director of aquaculture management, and this person was reprimanded twice this year by her superiors for failing to include the science that DFO is doing that is showing significant impact of salmon farms on Pacific salmon. She left this information out of a briefing to the minister before she went in front of the Standing Committee on Fisheries and Oceans, and she left it out of the report to the Committee of the Whole on DFO's 2022-2023 main estimates. So basically the funding that DFO needs going forward. These are really high-level government documents that did not include important information about the salmon farming industry, that it is impacting, that it is harming, that it is spreading pathogens to wild salmon. One of these emails to this director says, "This is a glaring omission that needs to be patched rapidly." Has it been patched? I don't know. This person is now out on the road with the minister. Is she filtering the information that is coming in from all of these people who are worried about the state of wild salmon and want these salmon farms removed from the ocean and put into tanks? We don't know. But even more disturbingly, Minister Joyce Murray is using this phrase that is absolutely meaningless. And I have to wonder, did some bureaucrat get some points for coming up with this phrase, progressive minimalization? What is that? Come on. You can't just throw out a word that DFO is suddenly magically going to progressively minimalize the impact of this industry that is releasing millions of viral and bacterial and parasite particles and larvae into our water, along with tons of waste daily. And so let me just give you an example of what has gone on and what maybe progressive minimalization really is. On March 2nd, a DFO veterinarian did a count of sea lice at the Cermak farm called Bauden Point in Clayoquot Sound, and she reported an average of 14.22 sea lice. That's almost 5 times over the limit. And she says in her email, this looks like a breach of the license of this farm. Yes, indeed. And so what did DFO do? They never laid a charge, and they awarded Cermak the right to put in twice as many fish. Is this what progressive minimalization is? Because Cermak desperately needed to be awarded this increase in production because they've been chased out of every other First Nation territory on this coast. All they have left is Clayoquot Sound. And if they can't double or triple their production there, they're out. They can't make a profit. Now, the situation in Norway is super interesting because the Norwegian government has decided they want to up the tax on the salmon farming industry by 40%. And Cermak, Maui, and Grieg, 3 companies that are here, are freaking out. And Norwegian reporters are saying that the politicians who are now trying to protect the salmon farming industry from this tax in Norway all own stocks in the companies. Okay, so I want to know what is going on in Canada. The Prime Minister said the salmon farming industry would transition from the water by 2025. The Minister of Fisheries in June of this year gave the salmon farming industry 2-year licenses, which basically says, grow your fish and get out. And now suddenly she's going on the road and indicating that they're going to progressively minimalize the impact of the industry and let them stay in the water. What kind of hold does this industry have on our government? If you want to be part of rescuing wild salmon from this impact, you want to see the kinds of increases that we're seeing in the Broughton Archipelago, write to the minister, give her a piece of your mind.